Are you ready?
Are you ready?
For a podcast hosted by George T.
Who the hell are you?
I am the movie geek.
Who are you?
I am the movie geek.
You are such a geek.
Thank you.
And now, on with the show.
It's time!
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Here we go.
Hello and welcome back to the Movie Geek Podcast. We have a special podcast today with the Razzie Awards. Yes, the worst movies, worst actor, worst actress, everything about this is horrible. So, with that being said, I'll also be doing my top films that are just absolutely terrible, but I'm also going to give you some background as to why the Razzies are so popular and where they came about. So let's begin with these overall. It was founded by the film industry veteran John Wilson and Mo Murphy and named after the act of blowing raspberries. The first award show was in Wilson's living room in Hollywood. Imagine these two guys came up with the idea for a opposite of Oscar show and said, man, they only reward the good movies. How about we do the award for bad movies? Because we all know that you have your good ones and you have your absolute clunkers. And then you sit there and go, man, did I just pay money for this bullshit? Yeah, you did, unfortunately. But luckily nowadays, with the streaming services, you can always wait to watch crap. So, that being said, so the winner of the Razzies always gets a golden raspberry statue. And we'll get into famous actors who have won Oscars who have also won raspberries. And there's one in particular that won a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year. Kind of weird, I know, but it'll make sense later. So the first Razzies were given out in 1982 for the films of 1981. The winner of the Worst Supporting Actress that year was Amy Irving. Worst Supporting Actor was Lawrence Oliver. Worst Actress Brooke Shields. Worst Actor Neil Diamond. I mean, he's a singer. He's not an actor. Worst Director Robert Greenwald. And Worst Picture Can't Stop the Music. I'd absolutely agree, Can't Stop the Music. I mean, the name alone just sounds terrible, but it was a bad movie. There is actually 700 people that now vote on the Razzies each year. Isn't that amazing? A little thing that was supposed to be a spoof of the Oscars is now this generational thing now, where we now have 700 people voting on this. I mean, that's kind of crazy. So, it'll never be an award show that you'll see on TV. I mean, it's just not something that the Actors Guild would want to put on TV. Again, it's a little tongue-in-cheek thing for all the good movies to be awarded, but for all the bad movies, they don't want that on TV. So, or a lot of actors wouldn't want it either. There's only been a few actors who have really embraced the Razzies. So, and we will go through a lot of these actors' names, and you'll be like, wow, these people were on this list. And yes, some of these films that they were given Razzies for or nominations for, you would understand. So imagine you are a big time actor or actress and you get nominated for one of these. Would you really want to accept it if you've won Oscars, or that you think, you don't deserve to be on that list? Probably not, but it's all tongue in cheek. And the reason why is because, again, there are bad movies out there every year. I mean, not everything can make money, or not everything is good. It's just how it is. Everybody's got their opinions on what is good and what is bad. So, again, when we go over my predictions for the Razzies, and we'll see how it winds up when the Razzies do get announced the day before the Oscars. So we'll do a recap show of both the Razzies and the Oscars after the Oscars comes through. All right. right, before we get to the Razzie predictions, we will go to 10 actors who have won both, and only one of these celebrities has won it in the same year, which is truly remarkable. All right, let's look at the list. Halle Berry is one of them. She won an Oscar for Monsters Ball and a Razzie for Catwoman. Absolutely agree on the Catwoman. And Monsters Ball, she was really, really good in that. Jared Leto, Dallas Buyers Club, he won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And then House of Gucci, he won a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor. Kim Basinger won an Oscar for LA Confidential, but she also won a Razzie for 50 Shades of Grey. Can't argue with 50 Shades of Grey in any category. Marlon Brando, a name you're familiar with, he won two Oscars, one for On the Waterfront and Godfather, but he won a Razzie for The Island of Dr. Moreau. Terrible movie. Faye Dunaway, and now this one is a little tricky. So she won an Oscar for Network, and she won a Razzie for Mommy Dearest and The Temp, but the Mommy Dearest one was rescinded for some reason, which I would agree with. I don't think Mommy Dearest was the worst picture in the world. I actually enjoyed Mommy Dearest, so that one I do understand why it would be rescinded. We don't know exactly why. Also, Laurence Olivier, he won an Oscar for Hamlet, but he also won a Razzie, actually two Razzies, for Enchanto and Jazz Singer. Nicole Kidman, an Oscar for The Hours, and a Razzie for Bewitched. I actually kind of liked Bewitched. I don't know what that says about me, but whatever. Eddie Redmayne, he won an Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. He was amazing in it, and in hindsight, that might have been not a good role for him, but he's done well, don't worry. He won a Razzie for Jupiter Ascending. Absolutely trash movie. Everybody in that movie should have gotten Razzies. They didn't, which is amazing, but what a horrible movie. And finally, the one person who has won an Oscar and a Razzie in the same year, Sandra Bullock. Yes, she won an Oscar for Blindside as Best Actress, but she also won a Razzie for All About Steve as Worst Actress. She's the only one who has won both in the same year. Truly amazing, considering we've done, 33 years of 33 years of Razzies, and only one person has ever won an Oscar and a Razzie in the same year. It's kind of an interesting tidbit there. All right, now it is time to name 15 actors who have won the most Razzies and how many nominations they had. So we'll go from the bottom to the top. John Travolta has won 2, and he's been nominated 9 times. 9 times. Will Smith, he is a 3-time winner with 3 nominations. So congrats on the 100% Will Smith. And those movies, absolutely, you deserved them. Interesting. And I love Will Smith, so I don't want him, coming after me or anything. Lindsay Lohan, 3 wins, 8 nominations. Sharon Stone, 3 wins, 9 nominations. Kevin Costner, 3 wins, 10 nominations. A lot of people don't like his westerns. Pauly Shore, 4 wins, 5 noms. Should probably have gotten 5 out of 5. I don't know. Ben Affleck, 4 and 11 nominations. Pia Sedora, 4 wins, 6 nominations. Bo Derek, 4 wins, 7 nominations. Demi Moore, 4 wins, 9 nominations. Eddie Murphy, 4 wins, 11 nominations. Paris Hilton, 5 wins, 5 nominations. She really is a terrible actress. Whatever. Adam Sandler, 5 wins, 16 nominations. Boy, they just don't like the Sandman. Sly Stallone, another one they do not like. 8 wins. He has the most nominations of any actor on this list, or any list in general. 22 nominations. They have trashed Sylvester Stallone. The Rocky movies after 4 and 5, they have just killed him for. And finally, the most wins of any actress or actor is Madonna with 9 wins. She has 15 nominations. Now, do we really count Madonna as an actress or a singer? Obviously, her claim to fame has been singing. So when she did the transition to acting, do we really count this? So, and again, Paris Hilton, the same thing. She's not an actress. She is a celebrity who got famous because of a sex tape and because she's rich. I mean, what do we want? I guess overall you would have to say Sly Stallone is your overall winner. And right behind him would be Adam Sandler with 5 wins. So congratulations, guys. All right, so here we go with the predictions for the Razzies. And I will explain most of them to you as well, because some of these categories were kind of cut and dry. some of them were a little rough to really pick a winner because some of these were just absolute trash and you had to kind of decide on which one was really, really trash. So let's get started. So the last category that is listed is worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel. So the nominees were Ant-Man and the Wasp, The Exorcist Believer, Expendables 4, Indiana Jones 5, and the Winnie the Pooh. Now, why Winnie the Pooh is in this at all? Just not sure. It's not a prequel, or it is now considered a prequel because there's a second one coming out. It's not a remake of anything. It is a ripoff of a children's book and nursery rhyme, but is it really in this category? So then you look at it and you go, well, Expendables 4 and Indiana Jones are just money-grabbing movies, and they weren't going to be any good. So you have to look at Ant-Man and the Wasp and The Exorcist Believer, and because I'm a Marvel fan, I actually like Ant-Man. So my prediction for the winner is The Exorcist Believer. And let me tell you, this movie was absolute trash after the first 5 minutes, okay? And I will explain more about it because we've got other categories where they are winners for. Okay, so your next category was worst screen couple. And this is kind of a funny little category. So it's funny. Any two members of the Expendables on the screen at the same time. Laughable. Any two money-grabbing investors who donated to the $400 million remake rights to The Exorcist. Again, not on screen, but yes, anybody who funded this movie or wanted to make a movie like this should be given more than a Razzie. They should be literally strung up by a tree. Selma Hayek and Channing Tatum for Magic Mike. Why are they on this list? It's a whatever. Ana de Armas and Chris Evans for Ghosted, mainly because they had no on-screen chemistry, which in this movie they didn't really. I know with Knives Out they were, so I kind of don't see where they should be on this list when there is plenty of couples on screen that were terrible. And lastly, Pooh and Piglet. Well, my winner is Pooh and Piglet because, well, basically when they weren't really on screen together a lot, and when they were, oh boy. You know what? I'm not even going to bother. All right. So, worst screenplay. You have The Exorcist Believer, Expendables 4, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Look, as much as we want to rag on Winnie the Pooh, and believe me, we're going to get to the rest of this later, but Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, had a little bit of a story. It gets lost in the fact that it is an absolute dumpster fire of a movie with horrible special effects, horrible makeup, just very bad acting. Why these people were not on any of the acting lists that's a crime in itself. I'm sorry. Just an absolute crime that none of them or all of them were not nominated for any acting awards. Expendables 4, again, it's a shoot 'em up, who's who of action stars. Again, were you expecting an Oscar for this movie? Again, it's a cash grab. We put all the big action stars together. We put them against one another. Again, what were we expecting? So I kind of tossed that one out. Indiana Jones, we kind of wanted to send Indy on his way. Look, I don't have a problem with this movie. I have a problem that it was made. I don't have a problem with this movie. Seeing Indiana Jones one last time, great. But the screenplay wasn't that bad. It was just way too late and, it was closure, I guess. Yeah, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Let me just say this. DC, I'm glad you're scrapping a lot of shit because this was shit. Absolute trash. But for my worst screenplay is The Exorcist Believer. You thought this was a way to get people interested in another Exorcist movie? Wow. When your lead actresses are teenagers who get lost for 3 days and you can't explain anything as to why or how they got lost for 3 days. The acting is terrible. The story just goes from bad to worse after that 5 minutes. And then we have to bring Ellen Barkin back to reprise her role as Regan's mom and, having to help families. Like, again, who thought this was a good idea? You all should be ashamed of yourself. Not that DC didn't need to be ashamed of themselves because they haven't made any good movies. I mean, I'll get to that in another podcast. Why Marvel absolutely trumps DC. Why DC should really just forget about doing comic book movies in general. Unless James Gunn, never mind, I'm just not going to bother. So my winner is The Exorcist Believer. Worst director. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier. Okay, so the nominees were Ben Wheatley, Meg 2, Scott Wall, Expendables 4, Peyton Reed, Ant-Man, David Gardner, Green, The Exorcist, and Reyes Frank Waterford for Winnie the Pooh. Tough choice here between The Exorcist and Winnie the Pooh. However, directing and cinematography and all that other stuff plays a part in how a movie comes through. At least The Exorcist had decent makeup, had symmetry between scenes, and it was a bad screenplay. Okay, you can't get out of that. But you know what? It was actually directed well. It was actually filmed well. So, Reyes Frank Waterford, I know this was a tongue-in-cheek type of movie, but you released it on a small-ass budget. I get it, and I get it. But it looked like they just filmed a whole bunch of stuff. They put it together. They didn't even have it sunk up. I mean, there's scenes where one of the girls has a gun. She goes into a next scene when she was carrying it, mind you, and it's gone. Don't know where it is. And then the next scene that she's seen in, she has it again. Again, there's no cinematography. There's nothing. It looks like they filmed it on, a camcorder on a budget, and they did. They've clearly done that. So you deserve this award. Just absolutely need to give you this award, and it's well deserved. Now we get to the acting awards and then the big one for the night. So worst supporting actor, Michael Douglas and Bill Murray for Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantum Mania, Mel Gibson for Confidential Informant, Franco Nero for Pope's Exorcist, and Sly Stallone for Expendables 4. Okay, let's put this out there right now. Mel Gibson, okay, it was a bad movie, but I thought it was pretty decent. Franco Nero, Pope's Exorcist. I can kind of toss you out too. Sly Stallone, again, what were we expecting? Miracles out of this movie? Again, it's a fourth movie. It's a cash grab for those people who are hard up on seeing action stars. So we look at Michael Douglas and Bill Murray. I do like Ant-Man. I liked this movie. I'm a Marvel guy, okay? And I know it wasn't the best Marvel movie, and it's certainly not the worst. But Bill Murray, for me, was way out of character for this movie. He just didn't seem like he fit. I understand the star power behind it, but he did not fit, and I'm sorry, Bill, but I have to give you the Razzie for worst supporting actor. Worst supporting actress. So Kim Cattrall for About My Father, Megan Fox for Expendable 4, Bei Ling for Johnny and Clyde, Mary Stuart Masterson for Five Nights at Freddy's, Lucy Liu for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay, let's break this one down real quick, because this is going to tie into the worst actress category. Where do we begin? Kim Cattrall, you're out. Megan Fox, again, you're out. Again, you're a terrible actress. Just put it out there, because you just are. Bei Ling, Mary Stuart Masterson, and Lucy Liu. Terrible acting in these movies. I do like Lucy Liu and Bei Ling. I do like them. However, Mary Stuart Masterson being in Five Nights at Freddy's, you should win the Razzie for. Sorry, you shouldn't have been in the movie. Just blatantly should not have been. Although my second choice would have been Bei Ling for Johnny and Clyde, and I'll explain that right now, because the worst actress nomination is Ana de Armas for Ghosted, Megan Fox for Johnny Clyde, Salma Hayek for Magic Mike Last Dance, Jennifer Lopez, The Mother, Helen Mirren for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay, Ana de Armas is one of my top 10 actresses right now. You're not winning this award. You're out. Salma Hayek, I mean, what did you want her to do in this movie? Okay, it is a dancing movie. Not going to be a lot of acting in this movie. You're out. Jennifer Lopez, I know she gets a bad rap and the movie sucked, but you're out. So it came down to Helen Mirren and Megan Fox. Helen Mirren in Shazam, horrible. But was it because the movie was just terrible, or was her acting that bad? I didn't think her acting was that bad. I think the absolute trash of a movie it is made you get into this category. You're out. Which leaves me to Megan Fox. I almost did want to give her the worst supporting actress for Expendables 4, just because, again, I think she's just a horrible actress. But you're going to take home the worst actress awards. So there you go, Megan. Okay, so we got 2 awards left. We have Worst Actor and Worst Picture. So we've got Worst Actor: Russell Crowe for Pope's Exorcist, Vin Diesel for Fast X, Chris Evans for Ghosted, Jason Statham for Meg 2, and John Voight for Mercy. This one was a little tough for me. So let's eliminate a few. Chris Evans, you're out. I know the movie was not a very good movie. You don't deserve to be in the category. You're out. Jason Statham, what were you expecting? Why would he? Again, it's another trashy movie because the first one made money, so we're going to make another one. Another one of these cash grabs. You know what? I'm going to do a whole special on cash grab movies and why Hollywood needs to stop making these. And again, I know they're trying to make money and everything, and people will actually go see this trash. But please, we got to stop this. We need good movies. We need good sequels. We need movies that are good, that need sequels, not trash. Like Winnie the Pooh. We don't need another one. We don't need another Meg either. So please, for the love of God, please don't make another one. So Jason Statham, you're out. John Voight for Mercy. Look, he's old. But does that really qualify him to be the worst actor? No. So we look at Russell Crowe and Vin Diesel. Russell Crowe, bad movie, and I would slightly give him the nod on this one to be the worst actor, except when you look at Fast 10. Look, Vin Diesel, I love you. I think you're really good, but you know what you should go back to? And I know you've teased this. You must go back to Riddick. You must go back and do your Furion. Get away from these movies. Just get away. We don't need more Fast and Furious movies. We don't. We have, 10 now? It's good. And you gave up your rights to the rest of it because you gave The Rock and Jason Statham a chance to take your Fast and Furious anyways. They made Hobbs and Shaw, another terrible movie. So Vin Diesel, you are my winner for worst actor, which leaves us to the worst picture of the year. Oh boy. Where do I begin? So we're gonna begin in order. The Exorcist Believer, Expendables 4, Meg 2, The Trench, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So let us start eliminating movies. Expendables 4, again, what were you expecting? Meg 2, again, what do you expect? Okay, this is where this became tough. As bad as The Exorcist Believer was, I wasn't going to give them the nod for worst picture. My initial thought was Shazam Fury of the Gods, because DC is trash. You made a few good movies, and actually your best DC movies are not even in your own universe, and we'll go over that another time. But until I saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, again, what a mess. What an absolute dumpster fire, trash, shithole, whatever you want to call it. The 100 Acre Wood Massacre it doesn't even do it justice. Doesn't even do it justice. So my choice, and hopefully your choice, for the worst picture of the. So congratulations to Winnie the Pooh for winning a whole bunch of awards. Now again, why none of the actors and actresses in this movie were nominated for any award is an abomination. Just like Winnie the Pooh is an abomination. And Winnie the Pooh 2 looks like another one, but with a bigger budget. Somebody greenlighted a second one after seeing the first one. What are we doing, Hollywood? What are we doing? And maybe it wasn't even Hollywood, because we all know Sci-Fi Channel has done some major shithole movies. And I can tell you right now, I can make a whole list of sci-fi movies alone that would be my worst movies. Actually, you know what? I'm going to amend a few of mine because I had a list of movies. So here's my list of just the worst movies of all time. Number 10 would be anything that sci-fi does. How about Sharknado? How about Three-Headed Shark? Six-Headed Shark? The list goes on and on. Just anything that sci-fi has done is absolute horrible. But again, they have a platform. They can do that kind of stuff, and they just stop. Number 9 would be the last 2 Jaws movies. Jaws 3D and Revenge. Michael Caine, what were you thinking? Did you really need the money that bad to be in 4th Jaws movie? I mean, you are a star, a decorated star, and you were in this just debacle. Number 8, the pirate movie. Don't even get me started. How about Geely at number 7? Freddy Got Fingered, Holmes and Watson, Cats, Jack and Jill, and my top 2, Pootie Tang. Somebody greenlighted this movie. Somebody thought it would be hilarious. Let me breathe for a second here. Again, I know that I am not an opinion. I have written better trash probably in English class. And to be honest, I've written some scripts and they would be 100 times better than Pootie Tang. That's just my opinion. And actually, I've let people read them and they actually thought the same, that they are really good. Anyway, at number 1, and I really had high hopes for this movie. when it came out. It is based off of L. Ron Hubbard's book, Battlefield Earth. The book itself is huge. It is enormous. So Battlefield Earth is the worst movie in the history of movies. Okay. So whereas most of these worthless, trashy movies that get a sequel or a reboot or whatever, this movie never even finished. So Battlefield Earth was supposed to be a 2-parter because the book was so long. Well, this movie was so bad. Obviously, it won a Razzie for Worst Picture, Worst Actor for John Travolta. It just won a ton of Razzies, and rightfully so. I remember seeing this in the theater, and I wanted to leave the theater. And I've never left the theater, ever. And I've seen some bad ones. Another one that comes to mind was Brothers Grimm. I wanted to leave. I actually fell asleep in Mars, Mission to Mars. I woke up and I was like, man, they're not even on the fucking planet. Like, what is wrong with this movie? Again, I love sci-fi, but a Mission to Mars should have them on Mars at some point. But Battlefield Earth, and I was alone in the theater, so this is probably my first indication that this movie was going to suck. But I remember kicking and punching my seat. Okay, so imagine you're an usher, right? And you're going through to check the temperatures, because that's what you do when you're an usher, and you see a guy all alone in the theater and he's kicking seats. Well, that was me, even though there was no usher on that day that went through there. I remember, but I do remember saying, man, I just wasted a whole day watching this. Like, I think the movie was 2.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I should probably have looked that up before I did this, but the absolute worst movie in the history of movies. So with that being said, I am looking forward to seeing the Oscars, and I want to see how I did on the Razzie predictions. So look for my Oscar prediction show also coming up. I still have not seen a few of the movies, and so I have not come up with that yet, but that will be coming out soon. So hopefully you agree with me, or you can disagree about movies. That is fine. I do have Instagram. It is geoted3. You can DM me your thoughts and comments. I also have a YouTube page that is mostly for my paranormal stuff. Hopefully soon I'll be able to get this up into my YouTube channel, which I'm trying to revamp, and you can also leave comments there as well. All right, so enough talking about trash. Until next time, thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that you're enjoying this content, and again, I will see you at the movies.
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.